Hey YouTube, or rather hey to my 15 subscribers, my husband. So here's my next video. I did make a second video, so let's go watch the video. What are you doing? You're sitting here watching me talk. Alright, so last time we were focusing on just securing the stone into the piece to make sure that it doesn't fall out. And now this time we are going to just work on the part of the pendant that connects to the necklace. Okay, so today I'm going to do a lot of weaving work or wrapping work. I've taken a long piece of wire, thinner wire, and what I'm doing now is I'm just quickly shining it up before we start weaving with it, because with the weaving it is difficult to polish it after you've done the weaving. Also, just make sure that you're careful the way that you handle your wires, because a wire is a lot more elastic than you can think. If you bend the one end like this end just wrong, it can bounce back in your face and hurt you. So just be careful when you're working with those thin wires and sanding them or just shining them up. Okay, so now I'm just making sure that the shape of the pendant is still round, because when you work on the pendant it does change shape sometimes. Okay, so after we make sure the pendant is the right shape, now we are going to be shaping the part of the pendant that connects to the necklace. I'm trying to make it a bit wider so that it is kind of in line with the pendant, the roundness of the pendant, so that it doesn't look uneven. This piece is going to be bent in half, so you see the shape will be, I don't know what you call that shape, but it'll be half of the shape that you're seeing here. Okay, so at this point this is what it should look like, and now we start with the weaving. The first thing is to just secure the piece of wire onto the pendant at the bottom, just nice and tight, because you're going to spend a lot of time weaving. You don't want it to come loose. I think I'll put in another little video in the middle here to show you what kind of weave I'm doing. It's very difficult to see it from this angle. I don't know how to explain it. You go around the one wire, around it, through the middle to make it all the way around, and then across to the other side, like a zigzag kind of. So as you see, the weaving is going to take quite a bit of time to get done. And my one piece of advice with weaving with this wire is, maybe instead of weaving the wire and twisting the wire around the metal, rather twist the pendant around, because as I said before, that elasticy type of wire, it can really hurt you if it bounces back and stabs you. So normally I just try to weave as tightly as I can up till halfway on the pendant, because up to halfway is what's going to show on the front. And then when we bend this piece, because we're going to bend it later to make the loop to connect it to the necklace, then there has to be a little bit of slack on that. So if you're weaving the front, weave it nice and tightly, and as you get closer to the back, maybe space it a little bit further, so that when you do bend the this part of the necklace, it doesn't pull too tight. It can bend nicely without any resistance. Alright, so if you've made it this far into my video, I'd just like to say thank you for sticking with me and spending some time with me to create this necklace. I have a lot of fun when I do this. I can weave for days, but thank you for sticking with me and being part of the journey. So while we're weaving, I would really like to hear from you. Maybe write down in the comments, what is something that you've always wanted to do that you haven't done, and what is the reason? What is stopping you from doing that? If I can go first, I think this YouTube channel is something that I've always wanted to start ever since I started watching YouTube. It's been a long time. I've been watching YouTube since I was small, so I've always since then wanted to start my YouTube channel. But I think maybe it's the confidence that you're not going to have the best quality video, or maybe the fear of judgment of what other people are going to say. I've realized since I posted my first video, actually all of those worries and concerns that you have are sitting in your own head, and people have actually been so supportive that it's really fueling me to post another video. Oh, at this point, while I'm rambling on, what I'm doing now, I've finished up the weaving on the necklaces, on this part of the necklace, and I'm just bending it in half to form a loop, a nice loop. Most people use something to bend it, but it doesn't really matter, as long as you can shape that top to be rounded and push it down as tightly as you can, because you're going to flare out those back two pieces of metal. I'll show you in a moment what it must look like, and then those pieces you're going to come back and wrap around the pendant. Okay, so here you can see I'm just flaring out those two back pieces as straight to the side as I can, because they have to come around the front again tightly to make sure that piece stays closed and connected. I'm going to show you just now what it looks like, how it should look before you start to bend it around the piece. So you can see I'm flattening this piece as close as I can. It should look like this at this point, and then we're just going to pull one of the wires across to the front like this, and that's going to secure it to make sure that it doesn't open up again later on. And then you pull the other wire also across the front and then to the back again, and that's going to make sure that it's nice and tight and that it's not going to fall off your necklace, just to make sure that it's closed securely. Okay, then you just see that I'm just making sure those pieces are tightly secured. I'm going to end up turning those into little loops. The metal's quite strong, so I know it's not going to fall apart. But before all of that, we're going to enter our sanding zone and we're going to sand and shine up the piece now, just because we want to make sure that all those little pieces that we're wrapping are still shiny, even if we're not able to reach those spots when we sand it again in the last piece. By the way, this little buffer that I'm using to sand the piece is just a normal nail buffer. I use a lot of nail files to file the pieces because it's just easier. They have a nice shape to hold onto and sand. Here I am just doing the loops, and then I'm going to cut off the end, and with that sharp end I'm going to take a normal nail file and just sand it to be smooth, because we don't want that to hook on anything or to hurt anybody. So you can see that nail file is very strong. It's very nice. You can see it's rounded off that end, and then I just come in again with the buffers just to shine it up before I squish it down underneath, so it's going to be inside. It's a very difficult part to get to if it's not sanded before you close it off and push it a bit further into the pendant. So that's the front part done. And now I'm going to go through to the back part, and I'm just going to do the same, but I'm going to make the loop upwards so that it's onto that piece that connects to the necklace. I'll show you when I do that. at the back it will touch that top piece. I also realized that I don't need the extra piece of wire at the top because the wires at the bottom are holding the stone quite securely, and this wire is doing nothing. So trial and error, like I said, we can trust the process, and if we want to make changes, you can do that. So I'm just taking that piece off. You can see it actually looks a lot more open. It gives me a lot more space to design or decorate. I'm just quickly sanding that top loop again like the front, to make sure there's no hooks when it's sitting on your neck. You don't get scratched or anything like that. So we make sure that that's nice and rounded, so that you can wear it everywhere and not worry about getting scratched. That is also going to be pushed a little bit deeper in, so I'm filing and I'm shining it now before I actually set it, so that I know when I come around again with the buffer that that part is still shiny and I don't have to buffer that part too much. So this is now what it looks like at the back. The loop is up on that piece that connects to the necklace. Just inspecting to see where I need to file or where I need to squish things down, and as you see, it's all tucked nicely in there. And there you have it. Thank you for sticking with me. That is what the piece looks at this point. And in the next one, we will start to beautify it a bit more. I'm going to make it look like I'm holding the number here in my hand.